Good afternoon, everyone. Sulfur dioxide, ash cloud moving from Russia, spreading again. Global southern hemisphere left this year right now. Right 2 years ago, blue means less ozone. Sodium tail mercury, wait, was that a comet or a planet? Changes around us. The phoenix moves through this spiral. There shall be signs in the skies. More losses of eggs, and if you want to know eggs and what else the pioneers would buy, here's your shopping list. U.S. drought monitor, straight up from Texas. Draw the line, occupied by wheat fields. Next comes the food shortage for the distraction, for the escape, and then the alien invasion. What are we seeing right here, and how can this be used to bend your reality? Because bent reality is this line waiting for flowers subsidized in Afghanistan. Girls on the left, long wait in line there. Everybody's separated, waiting in line for food. Right here's the distribution point. And on the right, as we continue down the line, how many hours would that take you? And could Americans do the same thing? I highly doubt it. How about you in Canada? Could you wait that long? Because here we go, the men's line, waiting for the same amount of flowers, the women in different directions. Do you think we could wait hospitably in line for food just like this? Or is there going to be chaos? Because if it's starting in these periphery countries, then what's going to happen when the southern hemisphere unloads on the catastrophic ozone depletion event? Staying in the southern hemisphere, New Zealand, 50,000 hens gone. So everywhere you look, eggs, it's so important. And I do want you to take a look. This is from the 1920s, a mechanical grocery shopping list. So think about this in the 1920s. This is what you would walk around the store with and then flick it to the right if you obtain that item. So I got bacon, got baby food, got noodles, need the onions, need the peppers, need the cream, need the eggs. So if you can take away the egg supply, you can disrupt a huge amount of downstream products. Food inflation, February 2023. I know it's a couple months late. OECD, super late. United Nations kind of things, they're months behind. Turkey, 69.3%. Okay. Oh, wait, that's just for February. Can you imagine if your food price is that high? United States, 10.1%. It's going to continue upwards. And anybody that is in these countries here, it's only going to continue to the right from this point forward. There's no way back. Map released, drought monitor, April 6th. So, wow, that's a lot of red up through the grain belt there. And it stays exactly the same, almost, intensifying in central Texas. And for geography, draw a straight line right up from Texas to Canada. And what do we see here? Percentage of each state occupied by wheat fields. So we know that we might have a problem with the wheat. How about soybean? The 2023 financial crisis has begun. According to Bloomberg, the missing catalyst is here, with gold now forecast to surpass $3,000 an ounce as a worst-case scenario. The economic hurricane J.B. Diamond warned of is here. Call the proud Americans at the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Remember, Patriot Gold Group offers the no fee for life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver on qualifying rollovers. Call 888-546-7020 to get your free investor guide today. Keep in mind, Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold IRA dealer 6 years in a row. That's 888-546-7020. And now on with the video. Okay, so how's Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana going to do? Wait, Ohio, that's almost 20%. Remember that little thing over on the east side of Ohio? Palestine. Cornfields, wait, that's straight up the drought zone right there. Nebraska, Kansas, South Dakota, Iowa. You're looking at 50% of American corn in these areas. Hay fields, this is super important. You may not think hay is important. It is incredibly important for feed and fodder. So when you're looking up at drought areas or those that are not producing so much, see, I live in Tennessee. 6.5% of all American production of hay is here. That's why we never pay more than $35 or $40 for a round bale, even in the worst years. Last year it was $30 a round bale. You know, some places out in like Colorado, New Mexico, they're paying $200. That's insane. I hear those 5X. Like, how do you get the hay from here to there? Will it be worth the time? Not sure. So looking at that, and then also knowing California, 4X the normal amount of rain. Everywhere you look across the planet, there's problems with the food. So it is springtime. You might want to consider getting with neighbors or starting to plant, or get a little area, 5 foot by 5 foot, just start somewhere, do anything. Food is really the key to civilization. Without it, civilization doesn't function. It just is not doable without food. So that's the main thing. Everything else comes after food. Food is the number one. I mean, yes, obviously oxygen you need to breathe in a few minutes, or water a few days, but really the civilization's running around food. Droughts everywhere, rumors of war here, signs in the skies there, southern hemisphere ozone depletion event. I mean, how prepared are you if food gets really expensive and not so available? Things will not be available. Can you go back to that same list from the 1920s and create meals from the basics? So we're going to have to step way outside the way we've been thinking into, you're going to get your basics on the, the flour, the wheat, the sugar, the whatever it is, and you're going to grind it yourself, or you're going to prepare it yourself. And we're going back to the 1850s, 1860s. What I don't like about this whole thing moving forward is it seems that it's stepping us back to the 1400s into serfdom and resetting a button for another 600-year cycle. That's just me, though. And on to the Russian eruption Shivalush just last week, 7 days ago. If we look at Thursday the 13th of April, this was the sulfur dioxide content swirling after the eruption. And I thought that's pretty interesting. I highly encourage you to go to windy.com and just click that SO2, which is sulfur dioxide, and see how it's moving around higher into latitudes, which is going to cool. This thing's heading directly toward the North Pole. And if we bring it out to the 23rd, you can see that swirling continues to thin and cover everything with sort of, I wouldn't say a uniform pattern, but eventually it will. You saw it go from that incredible thickness in the column to more of a dispersion. Everywhere you see yellow or red is a reflective particle in our atmosphere. So how's that going to work going over the North Pole, you might ask yourself. But the wild card is the Hunga Tonga eruption last year in January. I think it was January 15th, 2022, shot a huge amount of water vapor into the atmosphere up into the mesosphere, some 30 miles up. And these ice crystals, well, that's where ozone breaks down if it touches chlorine or bromine on the ice crystal surface. Now, since there's tens to hundreds of thousands of times more ice crystals than normal in the usual dry desert layer up there, you would expect ozone to run away early and show signs of, wow, this is going to be a world-shaking event at the core. UVB radiation will strike the ground across the southern hemisphere. Don't know how far it's going to go back toward the equator. But if you look at April 2023 left side to April 2021 right side, the way you read the chart is the more blue it is or purplish, the less ozone there is, less Dobson units. The more green and yellow and red, the higher, the more ozone there is in the column, Dobson units. So what I'm looking at here, purple's already forming when it shouldn't do that until August. Houston, we have a problem. And I do follow a couple Middle East weather telegram channels here. Severe weather forecast. Look at all the thunderstorms. Now, this is an example of extremes. This is March 25th through the 27th, but that is literally off the charts for thunderstorms over the Middle East there. And speaking of oddities, 4.5 magnitude quake, deep ocean, now North Carolina Outer Banks. That's in the middle of a plate. Just for reference, that shouldn't be there. Mega hail, size of softballs coming down, grapefruits, normal now, splashing the water. Even if you were trying to hide under the water, you got to come up for air sometimes, right? And many people are blissfully just sleeping through this. Maybe we should all take a nap and wake up later. Not sure. But the Phoenix arises in Italy with the eruptions. Spirals in Alaska. Usually that's the rocket launch that's gone wrong, but these days, who knows? And now we have a sodium tail coming off of Mercury. Yeah, that's not a comet. It shouldn't be, but what's making it glow like that? You know, ionized particles coming off the sun at a faster rate, and a change in that magnetic field also would explain it. So, Earth, welcome to the electromagnetic freak show. This one's off Earth's sky as well. 24 million kilometer long plume of gas flowing from Mercury's thin atmosphere. Wait, we were told Mercury doesn't have an atmosphere, so suddenly it does. They need to explain away the tail, because you're going to see it. There shall be signs in the skies. And what's most interesting for me and mind-blowing is, you see those four dots that perceived as a square? That's exactly what Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are going to set up like October of 2024, creating a strange magnetic anomaly in our solar system. That's the configuration right there that is going to shift our world. The cycles are here. Now the only thing left is to distract more. Economic collapse is coming. There needs to be a distraction for the escape. But at the same time, we keep hearing about this fake alien invasion. That looks like re-entry, coming in on a spacecraft, decelerating into our atmosphere with propulsion systems unknown. How scary would this be if it occurred over your home and then suddenly 16 or 100 pods came out and just descended to the ground? Terrifying, actually. And then if you look at this conundrum that the world's in with money printing, food supplies, agitation, rumors of war, signs in the skies, and then this occurs along with the catastrophic ozone depletion event, worldwide rice shortages, worldwide barley and other crop shortages, and this thing reascends through the atmosphere with, it definitely looks like some sort of pulse. What is that? Plasma propulsion? What type of electrogravitics are they using in this craft? Definitely human-made, not alien. Don't buy the illusion. Because these are the things that we're up against. There's very little time left until the main event begins, which is October of 2024. Now think about all the money printing that was done in the last 3 years. Well, that was for a certain crowd of people to take control of supply chains and reroute it for 3 years. That's done. Whatever was done at that time is now complete. Now there needs to be a distraction for the escape. Now I'm looking back at Journey albums going, what was the lyrics in there that were talking about the escape of the moneyed families and those of old, the ancient ones still on the planet, controlling farm earth? Something needs to be so all-encompassing that you won't even look or even care that they're gone. And when I say they, central banking, the images on the news, the faces that you see, whether real or not, contrived by AI or not. Humanity is going to be left as a bug on the windshield as we start going 55 miles an hour down the highway here. Electromagnetic effects, you're going to start to see Squatter Man and different plasma events through our skies. It's going to be difficult to explain. You're definitely not going to work, and you're definitely not going to think about the stock market or investment or your retirement the same way when you start to see these sky phenomenon. The time's here. 2025 is going to be a big one too when the sun swings around out of that magnetic anomaly and there's nothing behind us except the sun, all the gas giants, every planet in our solar system, and we are out in the front by ourselves. Gravitationally dragged anything that's out in front of us, space dust, rocks, bolides. It's all coming in 2025. But see, getting past that, whoever's left after that, you will be the new world. The distraction comes now, so be ready for it. You're going to have to get off systems for a while. These systems are very complex. They're breaking down every way, shape, and form. Things just aren't going to be coming. There's going to be economic disruptions, supply chain disruptions, just goods disruptions in our lives in general. And I really hope it doesn't come to the electrical disruptions, brownouts, blackouts, where you need to really, you'd be like, oh, I'm so glad I got solar power now just because we're blacked out for 2 weeks. But then it comes back on. That mind meld of, oh, it's off, it's on. You never know when it's coming. Oh, it's 2 hours, 12 hours. Oh, it's 2 days, 2 weeks. Oh, it's only 1 hour. Like imagine that when you start getting in the rotation, power comes on and off. You just literally don't know when. Offices are closed. That's the world we're heading into. Seriously, you're going to need to start to take the bull by the horns. Storable foods, seeds, growing your own food community. And growing food takes many forms, whether you do it indoor, outdoor. Gardening is growing. I'm super excited. Eden Grow System's going to send me this double-deck tower here. 64 plant capacity. I'm going to run this thing and try to break it. Design features. We'll see what we can grow in it. Full spectrum LEDs, adjustable decks, automated touchscreen operation, reserve for water after you mix those nutrients. We're flowing with aeroponics. And think about it, vertical farming or indoor agriculture is the way to go in the future. You got to protect it. Moat and Bailey is where we're going. I do thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. You can start with some storable foods. My Patriot Supply and Adapt 2030. 3-month emergency food supply. That link's in the description box below, along with tonight's images, stories, graphics, so you can do your own research.